How's it going, everyone? Let's see, in this episode we're going to start getting our boards put together for Star Trek. I got the cabinet all primed. You should have already have seen the completed cabinet by the time you watch this video. So I'm kind of doing these while I'm waiting on things, and right now I got it primed and I'm just waiting for my primer to set up real good so I can wet sand. Okay, enough of that. There, you can see it here. See, all primed. Okay, good. Now, we had one board, I think, that we were going to be able to salvage out of our Star Trek. Maybe two. Hopefully two. But right now we're going to work on getting a driver solenoid board all put together and voltage regulator board. This is the one that came out of it. You can see we got too much rot going on this one to even think about using it. I think about the only thing I can save off of this is maybe some SCRs or whatever you call the transistors on this, and I can save the heat sink and maybe the flipper relay. Yeah, that we can save the flipper relay on it too, but that's about all you're going to be able to save on that board. You'd have to totally rebuild that one from scratch because there's just too much rust on everything. So that one goes off to the side. This is a 102478, and you can see in 78, you can see where the little ceramic capacitors are on that older one there. Now I have this one. I don't think I did find a date on this one, but it doesn't really matter. There it is, 979, which are, let's see, Star Trek is it's either 78 or 79. Doesn't matter, we don't have to match them up, I don't think. But this one is complete, missing a fuse. That's about it. We could throw this one right in, put a fuse in it, and throw this one right in and test it. The only thing is it got a little toasty down in here, and it looks like we got a resistor. Well, we got one broke anyway there, and that one has been changed. But you can see where the ceramic capacitors are on the little bit newer ones, or in between the transistors. This one, let's see, we could put a resistor in it and put a heavy one in there. Back of the board looks okay. I don't know what the hell that was. It's a booger. It was a circuit board booger. But, this board, somebody's worked the pins over on it, but it's complete. Got everything on there that we needed. That one, not too bad. We have this one. It says works 5 volts. So the 5 volt section works. Well, if you don't have your high voltage regulator or your transistors or your potentiometer, and I think there's a big resistor missing right down in there too. And let's see, this one looks like we got one resistor broke off. Nope, looks like it's got the pad up off of it. Yep. So that one we'd have to work over. I mean, it's not junk. This is just a ground mod somebody had in there. That one's not junk. We could fix it too. That's number 2. If you see a little water, I just brought these in from the shed outside, and there was a little ice on a couple of them just from being in the tote. Then we have this one. We have our shield, which none of the other ones did. We could fix this one up. Let's see, we got one transistor missing. Rest of them are there. We have one control chip missing, and the potentiometer's missing, and the filter cap, the 5-volt regulator, and heat sink's missing off of this one. It looks okay. Oh, this one. So this is another one that we could rebuild. This one wouldn't be bad at all. But we will steal the shield off of it. These are just the 4 that I kind of grabbed up that you know, the boards look the best. It doesn't matter what's missing on them. We have everything to put one together, so it's not like it's a big deal. I just grabbed the best looking ones that I had, and these 4 were the best looking. This one, we're just missing our filter cap and our 5-volt regulator. Everything for the high voltage is here. Potentiometer, the 2 transistors, the heat sinks on that one, and all. Whoops, we got one missing here, 1 transistor missing, and 1 ceramic missing here. Which again, somebody swapped that one out and got that one sticking way up in the air. What's it say? Okay, displays do not work. So there's a problem with the high voltage section on this one. And so this one, something in the high voltage is not working. It could be our regulator. Could be anything in here. Could be the filter cap. Who knows? But again, good looking board. That one's not a problem to fix. You know, we have a heat sink, like I said, over there. If we wanted to swipe that one's got the high voltage shield on it. But these are the 2 that I was really kind of leaning towards fixing. You know, don't get me wrong, those ones can be fixed too. This one, I'm gonna wash this one up and see what it looks like. See how much of this black stuff, the soot, will come off, which probably none. But let's see, this one. Yeah, this is the one. It's got. Yeah, see the pads pulled up on that one. It's still connected, but it's pulled up. But again, we have to rebuild the whole 5-volt section on this one. So we'll put that one back in the pile, and I think I'm going to clean this one up, and we'll look at it again after I get it all cleaned up, and we'll decide. This is probably the one that we'll fix. So let me get it cleaned up, and we'll see how it looks after it's cleaned up. Yeah, I got it all cleaned up. And you can see mostly all those all the soot come off the board. And from the looks of it, we got to replace a little resistor here, and there's one right there that's all nasty looking. We'll go ahead and replace it and put a new 5-volt filter cap on it, and test out all of our transistors. And this one will be ready to put in when we're ready for it. That's the power supply and voltage regulator. Now, this is the original lamp driver board that came out of that. And it looks, we got a little bit of rust on the pins up here, but there's nothing terrible on this. And you see it cleaned up nice. So that we're gonna, well, this is the one that we'll be able to save. That'll be the original out of the machine. I'm surprised we were able to save anything. Now the soundboard, cleaned up nice, but this chip right here on U3, that's our sound chip. That's the one that controls all this, makes all the sound for our machine. And the pins are really rusted, and there's a couple of them broken away from the chip. And there's nothing left on the side of the chip for me to get a hold of to solder to repair the legs on that one. I will go ahead and desolder it, pull it, and see if there is anything, get a really good look at it. That's the only chip on this whole board. Well, this one needed pulled too, to be cleaned, but I can't find that. That's the sound ROM there. That one I cannot find. So we might be buying a new one here. A new soundboard. Alright, and this is the original MPU out of it. This is a 35, a dash 35. I tried pulling, well, in fact, no, when I washed it, washing it, two of the chips fell off. These two of the game ROMs, they're, yeah, see, you just pull on them and all the legs just break off. They're so rusted. This board could actually be saved, but there's just so much work to do on it to try and save it. It doesn't look like there was any battery damage to it. And this is all just from being in the machine with funk on it. You know, it's clean. Right where the battery was, it's all nice and clean. But you know, that's, you got to replace all the sockets for your 6800 and your 26821 PIAs, 5101, everything all the way up through here. You'd have to pull all these chips here and put sockets in, replace all those chips. Plus a pin. You have to redo all the pins on it too. But you know, there's a lot of work on that one. I have two 35s, 2-35s. I have this one, which from just a glance looks good, looks nice. No battery damage. Actually looks good until you pull it out, turn it over, and got some bad ugliness on those two chips. It could be repaired. You know, put sockets in it and you can put the traces back in and all that, but again, that's a maybe. Now this is the one that I'm thinking of. This is out of my Black Pyramid, and I think I had a bad ROM in that one. I pissed with it just for a little bit and then just ordered a new one, a new board for it. And I know I have to change the sockets. I got the ROM sockets. We don't have any ROMs, any game ROMs, but you know, you can see that there was no acid damage, no battery damage on my Black Pyramid. So I know this is the board that we're going to mess with and get going. The only problem, that's the original again, is jumpers. See, the original Star Trek had 93 16As game ROMs in it. And I can't program the 93 16As. And I can't burn the 28 16s either. That's the other set that would go in here. But the equivalent to it is the 27 16s were the original. Those ones I can erase, but I can't burn because my burner doesn't go up to 25 volts. You need 25 volts to burn 28 16s. 27 16s. Dang. Getting that all screwed up. But the equivalent that my programmer will burn are the 28 C16s. Bring you over here. And those ones I've already burnt for Star Trek. U1, U2, and U6. That's my programmer. Like I said, I have 3 more left. In case something else happens. But in order for us to use that MPU and use our 28 C16s, we have to change all the jumpers around. And like I said, the 27 16s are the same as the 28 C16s. So you see, we have to change all these jumpers. Which I'd rather do the jumpers than, because I know this is a good board. So we have to change around a bunch of jumpers on here to make this work for our 28 C16s. They're just different pins are designated for different areas on the ROM, so you have to get the jumpers right. This one here is jumpered for the, I figured out the 9332s. 9332s? Yeah, something like that. Anyway, they're wrong. We have to change the jumpers on our board in order for us to use the 28C16s. Which I would rather do that with a nice clean board than trying to fix those 2 chips up there on top of that one. So that's what we're going to do. Is we're just going to change jumpers around so we can use our ROMs. Like I said, I had robbed the 6800 and the PIAs out of this and the 5100 and that because I was using them on another one, but I have them all to put back in. So that's what we're going to do with this MPU. But first, we're going to start working on our power supply, our solenoid driver board, and yeah, they call it solenoid driver board, but it's also a voltage regulator too. And our lamp board, we need to get those all tested out and make sure everything's good on those before we get into the MPU. So we're going to start with him and get that done first. Alright, you can see I changed out these two little resistors. I put 8th watt in, that's what it calls for. I had some quarters, but might as well use up my 8th watts. To change the big blue, the big blue turd, and you can see this one, the date on this, 34th week of 79, and you can see she's all bloated. It's actually got the pins opened up a little bit. And now we're gonna check our driver transistors. I've done this before, showed people how to do it, but in case somebody is new and is watching this video and wants to know how to test those out before you put them in, put the board in, this is how I do it. I'm not saying this is the right way. I'm just saying this is how I do it. Now you can see we need to check them all. We'll flip this over. This one's a lot easier to check from the back side. Put your digital multimeter on diode test, and all we're going to do is check. This is the middle pin of that transistor, and then we're going to just test on the outside. Let me make sure we got. You can see this one is that side is 0.57, and that's 0.56. And we'll go down to the next one. 0.57, 0.56. All we're doing is looking for similar. Most of these, the voltage drop on these should be anywhere from like 4 to 7 in that range. If you have one that's suspect, you can pull it and test it and make sure you're not testing something else on the circuit board. All you're doing is looking to see if they're all about the same. Now if you get one that's, you know, like above 1, you know, like it's at 1, or it just beeps off, then you know that one is bad. This is just kind of a quick way to test all these to make sure that before you put the board in, that you have a pretty good idea that these are all good. Doesn't mean that they are. You know, you could still have a problem with them, like it breaking down, you know, under a load. But at least this way, you have a pretty good idea that they're all going to be good. You know, I know somebody's going to tell me that, you know, this isn't the right way to test them, but all you're doing is looking for some similarities. If they are all testing about the same, then you have a pretty good idea that they're all good. And then when you put the board in and fire up the machine, and a solenoid isn't firing, then it may not be your board. You know, everything on all your driver transistors here are probably good. Now see, there's one that's 0.64. What's the other side? Yeah, that one's bad. I was hoping I would come across one. And I'm just going to mark it with my Sharpie so I know to change that one. You can see this side 0.64, and the other side is 0.92. And I will pull it and test it, but I'm pretty sure that one is bad. These are just tip 120s. And that's not anywhere near the repair where those resistors were bad. Where is it? Yes, it is. That's the one resistor that was blown apart. So we know we have to change that one with a tip 120. And to pull that, we get our Alright, let's see, is that a... No, I think that one has been replaced once before too. So now we'll test it out of circuit. 0.6. And nothing. Yep. Alright, let me round up a tip 120. I didn't think any of those were going to be bad, but they are, so I need to round up a tip 120 and get that replaced. Alright, we got our solenoid driver board all ready to go. We put in a new tip 120. Here somewhere, right there. A couple resistors. Put in a new cap. Reflowed and cleaned all the pins. I may do the ground mods. I haven't decided what I'm doing yet. But yeah, we got her all done. That one's ready to go in when we're ready for it. Next, let's see, what should we do next? I think we'll take a look at this lamp driver board. Now we're going to do the same thing on this one. I'll reflow all the pins, check all the transistors, and see what these ones, these little ones usually test a little different than the tips do. Let me see if I can remember here. Can you see that? Yeah. I think it's usually only one leg, I think, that... Yeah. And then the other side should be nothing, if I'm not mistaken. 7-3. Nothing. Nothing? Nothing. Okay, let's see. 0.73. Nothing. There we go. 0.74. Nothing. Come on. There we are. That's why most of the time it's better to test them on the back side, because you know you have a good solder pad to test with instead of trying to test on the legs. Let's see here, we can 7-4, nothing. 7-4, nothing. We'll test all of those little ones, and the big ones, usually I think these ones are the same, test the same way. You got nothing, nothing. Okay. Those ones don't do squat. Kind of hard to say that every one of them is bad, but if I'm not mistaken, on these ones, if you do get a reading, they're bad. Okay. So I'll go through, test them all, and we'll see what we come up with. We shouldn't have any problems with this. We may have to change a little transistor, but most of the time the lamp driver boards are pretty bulletproof. You do run into a few of these small ones that do go bad. Usually I end up changing one or two of those, but I'll go through, check them all, and we'll see what we come up with. The only thing I found was one little transistor. Let's see, which one was it? Oh, right here. One little one that was bad. That one only read 0.24. The rest of them were between 0.74 and 0.77. So we had one that I changed out, cleaned all of our pins, and now our lamp driver board is ready to go in. So that gives us two. Next, I'm gonna pull this chip and see if it can be saved, which I doubt it. But I figured while we're here, we'll see if I can even melt the old corroded slobber off of it. Yeah, see, it doesn't even want to. Doesn't even want to suck the solder completely through. Got all the rust. Yeah, I could probably save this board if I had another chip. Alright, a couple of these, I don't want to pull the solder completely through, so we're going to put some fresh solder down on it. A lot of times if you get them like this where they don't want to, where the solder doesn't want to clean off, suck all the way through, if you put some fresh solder down on it, it'll help melt that nasty solder. And put it temperature to work. And if my sucker is plugged up, I gotta plug the sucker. Put that real quick. That's better. You just suck up one of the legs. Probably was stuck in, probably was dirty. I sucked up one of the legs. Alright. There it is, yeah, and just every one of them broke off. Yep. So there's no saving that chip. So you know what that means. That means we have to get a soundboard. I was pretty sure that's what was going to happen. It's just those legs are really small. Alright, well, now at least now we know where we stand. Well, I did find the chip. It's over in Europe. There's somebody over there in Europe that must have been able to copy them and burn them. $38.50. That's with shipping. That's euros, which you could probably add another, I think it's about $1.50 onto that. So it'd be right around $40 to get that sound prom in. And then $10 for the cap kit. But we're not sure everything else on this is going to work. You know, if I could have found one of these, you know, for like 10, 15 bucks, which, you know, that's it. Yeah, right. But, so what I'm thinking is I'm just going to order a new soundboard for it. I'll put this one up, and if we ever get one in that we need something else off of or whatever, because I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to have to change out these two. Those both have rusty legs on them. And this one over here, yeah, because that's got one broken leg on it, so those will have to be changed out anyway. What are they anyway? I can't read them. Anyway, so, you know, I'll put another, well, let's see, that'd be 50 bucks just to get the cap kit and the chip. And then we don't know what else we'd have to do, so that's 50 bucks there. You know, and I can put another $55 with it and just go with a new one. I would have liked to have used this one, but that's the way it goes. So it'll be one that we can rebuild at some point if we get another one in that's burnt or whatever. You know, we can, because this chip runs quite a few different machines, not just Star Trek. There's about 4 or 5 other ones that chip also works with. So we may get one in that's worse than this one, and we got a good chip on it, you know. So it'll just go in the parts pile, parts box. So that takes care of our soundboard. Now, we've got our transformer. Oh, I think somebody's here. Alright, now we got our transformer and our rectifier board here that we need to check out. And as you can see, somebody has put aluminum foil on every one of these fuses. I cleaned up the board. It was black. And by all means, never do this. Never put aluminum foil on a fuse. Clips are still good, that's for sure. Give me that. Yeah, and I know I shouldn't be using a screwdriver. We'll clean up all these fuses and check all the values on them. See if they're any good. But like I said, man, those clips are sure good. I think somebody was having a problem with this. Okay. Now we need to test our bridges. Same thing as always. Put your multimeter on diode test. Let's see. Which one's the plus? Okay. Put your minus probe on your plus and check either side. Same as if you're testing a diode, it should be, there we go, should be between 0.4 and 0.7. Basically what a bridge rectifier is just 4 diodes in a circle here, or in a square. That's all a bridge rectifier is. Let's see, plus 1, 6, 6. Now all you're doing is looking for similarities. Surprising, all 4 of those, or all 3 of those are good. Now what we're going to have to do is clean our pins up here and reflow the pins. Check all those fuses, see what kind of shape they're in, see if they're all good. Let's check the back side of this board. You can see it's not in bad shape, just it was really filthy. Okay, let me reflow the pins on these and get those all cleaned up. I'll check the diodes over here. Check those 4 diodes. And it should be, if everything checks out okay, we can get this ready to put back in. Alright, got everything all tested. Everything's good on this board. All the fuses were correct. I just cleaned up everything. Got all the aluminum foil out of it. Had to take my Dremel and clean the clips on every one of the fuses because they were covered in aluminum oxide. Got them all cleaned up. Reflowed some pins back here. Tested the other 4 diodes, which is just another bridge. It acts like another bridge rectifier anyway. But everything's good on it. We're ready to mount it back on its plate. I can't do that until it dries. I had to paint it. It was all rusty and I cleaned it all up and painted it black with some Rust-Oleum oil base. And I didn't paint the back side because I want the feet, when I mount it back into the box, I want it to pick up the ground off of the grounding plate that's in there. So that I didn't paint. I'll just clean it up on the bottom side real good so when I screw it down in, it'll pick up the ground. And if not, then we'll have to run a ground to it. Let's see, so we have our solenoid driver board, our lamp driver board, our bridge rectifier, transformer, all of that's good. Transformer. That's all taken care of. The soundboard, we'll order a new soundboard for it, and that way it's done and we know it'll be reliable. The only board we have left is the MPU. And if I have time in this video, I'll put the MPU in if I didn't have too many problems with it. So hopefully you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it for you. And I hope to see you on the next episode. Until then, see ya.